Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're going to be diving deep into the world of teen entrepreneurship today.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool. We found this awesome article.
Okay.
It's called Experto cuenta cómo comenzar un negocio este 2025, siendo adolescente, sin dinero y sin experiencia. Which basically means expert explains how to start a business in 2025 as a teenager without money and without experience.
Wow. Okay, so starting from zero.
Yeah, exactly. And get this expert, he's actually built
Wow.
multiple successful businesses himself.
From scratch.
Yeah, from nothing. And now he's sharing his 5-phase roadmap. So, it's specifically for teens, right, who are ready to ditch the lemonade stand and launch something serious.
Right.
But here's the thing. This expert, he's all about the B2B sector.
Okay, so business to business.
Yeah, which, I don't know about you, but that kind of surprised me.
Yeah, when you think about teens starting businesses, I don't think that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Right. You think I don't know, selling stuff on Etsy or becoming a social media influencer or something, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But this expert, he really believes that B2B is like a hidden gold mine, especially for young entrepreneurs.
Okay, I'm curious. Let's hear more about it.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. So phase 1 of this roadmap, it's called mental reset.
Mental reset.
Yeah. So basically, it's like hitting the refresh button on your mindset.
Okay, I can see how that would be important.
Yeah, you've got to kind of clear out all the clutter, detox from all the negativity and distractions.
All that noise?
Yeah, all the noise, exactly. That can just, hold you back from achieving your goals.
It's like cleaning your browser history, right?
Yeah.
All those algorithms and targeted ads that are constantly trying to influence you.
Totally. So this phase is about taking back control, It's like a mental spring cleaning, getting rid of all those digital cobwebs.
I like that, a digital spring cleaning.
Right. And thinking about your information diet. What are you feeding your mind? Is it helping you or hindering you?
Yeah. Are you scrolling through TikTok all day, or are you actually researching, learning, and connecting with people who can help you grow?
Exactly. This expert actually specifically warns against those get-rich-quick schemes,
Oh, yeah, those are everywhere.
They're everywhere, and they're just another form of distraction, right? They're not going to actually help you build a sustainable business.
It's about shifting your focus from a destructive mindset to a constructive one, right? Focusing on information that actually aligns with your goals.
Yes. It's about being intentional with your time and energy, making sure that what you're consuming is actually fueling your entrepreneurial dreams.
Okay, so you've decluttered your mind, you're feeling focused and positive. What's next?
All right, so you've done your mental reset, you're feeling good, you're ready to go. Phase 2 is skilling up.
So this is where you actually start learning the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where things get really interesting. This expert, he argues that the job market, it's changed, right? Fundamentally.
In what way?
Gone are the days of just, following a traditional career path.
Oh, like going to school, getting a degree, and then climbing the corporate ladder.
Yeah, it's just not, it doesn't work that way anymore, you actually need to create your own value.
Your own unique skills and expertise that businesses actually need and will pay for.
Yes, exactly. Your unique skill set that businesses are actually willing to pay for.
Okay, so how do you even figure that out?
Yeah.
I mean, especially for a teenager, that can seem really daunting.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially if you're just starting to think about your future.
It's where do you even begin?
Yeah. So actually, this expert, he shares his own story, which I think is really cool.
Okay.
So he studied economics in the U.S., right? And then he went back to Spain. And he kind of expected to, slide right into a cushy corporate job, but
It wasn't what he expected.
no, it was totally different. The traditional job market just wasn't offering what he had in mind.
So what did he do?
So he had to adapt. He had to create his own opportunities. And that's how he discovered the power of the B2B sector.
Okay, so going back to B2B, I'm still a little fuzzy on why this is so great for young entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so he points out that, first of all, businesses, they have bigger budgets than, just regular people, like consumers.
Right, that makes sense.
So they can afford to pay more for your services.
Okay.
And they're always looking for solutions to their problems, they're constantly trying to improve their operations, increase their efficiency, reach new customers.
So there's a constant demand for new ideas and solutions.
Exactly. And he also says that there's less competition in the B2B space compared to, some of those more crowded markets, like being an influencer or selling on Etsy.
Okay, so you're saying it's like a hidden market with fewer players vying for attention.
exactly. And he actually gets even more specific. He recommends that aspiring teen entrepreneurs specialize in Amazon.
Amazon, really?
Yeah, as a platform.
Boy, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, right. It doesn't really scream, glamorous teen entrepreneur or something.
Seems kind of, I don't know, technical.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it so interesting. So he actually points out this big knowledge gap.
Who do you mean?
Like, there are tons of businesses out there, right?
Yeah.
That want to sell on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
but they just don't know how. They don't have the expertise.
So there's a demand for people who can help them navigate that world.
Exactly. There's a real need for Amazon expertise.
Okay, that makes sense. But what kind of skills are we actually talking about here?
Yeah, so he actually breaks it down into 5 key areas.
Right, lay it on me.
Okay, so first, there's mastering Amazon Seller Central. Have you ever heard of that?
I can't say that I have.
So it's basically like the command center for everything, right?
Yeah.
For managing your presence on Amazon.
Okay.
It's where you list your products, track your inventory, manage your orders, all of that stuff.
It's like the behind-the-scenes engine that powers an Amazon business.
Yeah, exactly. It's really powerful.
Okay, what's next?
All right, so second, you need to understand brand registry.
Okay, brand registry.
Yeah, so this is all about protecting your brand, like building credibility on Amazon.
Makes sense. There's a lot of competition on Amazon. You need to stand out.
Yeah, exactly. And like differentiating yourself from the competition. It's about creating like a unique brand identity.
So it's not just about like slapping a logo on a product. It's about crafting the whole brand experience.
Yes, you got it. Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Okay, third, creating high converting product listings. So think about it, right? Like you're competing with millions of other products on Amazon.
Yeah, it's a crowded marketplace.
So your listings, they have to stand out. So you need to use like compelling titles, descriptions, keywords, visuals, all that stuff to actually attract buyers.
It's like the art of persuasion, but in the digital marketplace.
Yes, exactly. It's a whole skill set.
Okay, we're on number 4 now.
Okay, fourth, mastering PPC advertising campaigns. So PPC, it stands for pay-per-click.
Okay.
And this is basically how you get your products like seen, right? You have to get them in front of the right customer.
Right, because even if you have a fantastic product, if nobody sees it, it's not going to sell.
Exactly. So it's a whole strategy of, targeting keywords, bidding on ad placements, all that stuff.
It's a whole world in itself.
It is. It's like a whole mini business within your business.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's the 5th skill?
Okay. Fifth and final, being able to analyze performance data.
Okay, so like tracking your sales, your ad campaigns, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And like figuring out what's working, what's not working,
Identifying areas for improvement.
Yes, exactly. So you can optimize your strategy and like make sure you're maximizing your profits, right?
It's like being a detective, but for your business.
Yeah.
You're constantly looking for clues to improve.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it.
So that's a lot of technical stuff, right? There's a steep learning curve there, even if you're already, pretty tech savvy.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely acknowledges that, that it can seem overwhelming.
But he also says these are learnable skills, right?
Yeah, he does. He really emphasizes that.
So it's not about being like a tech genius. It's about being willing to learn and to put in the effort.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where phase 3 comes in, which is gaining experience.
Okay, so now we're talking about putting all that knowledge into action.
Exactly. But here's the catch, right?
What's that?
Like, how do you actually gain experience if you're just starting out and you don't have any prior work history?
Right. It's like that classic catch-22. You need experience to get a job, but you need a job to get experience.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what makes this expert's advice so valuable, I think.
Okay, what does he suggest?
So he actually has a bunch of practical tips. So one thing he suggests is like working for free or for like a really low rate for a company that needs Amazon expertise,
So like an internship, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like an internship, but maybe even more informal than that.
I see.
Another thing he suggests is like maybe offering to manage like a friend or family member's Amazon account.
Oh, that's interesting. Just to get some hands-on experience?
Yeah, exactly. Or even volunteering to help, like a local business that's struggling with their Amazon presence,
So it's about finding creative ways to get your foot in the door and to build your portfolio.
Yeah, exactly. Like demonstrate your skills to potential clients, even if you're not getting paid a ton or even at all at first,
Right. It's about building that credibility and showing that you can get results.
And, along those lines, he also really emphasizes building a strong online presence.
Okay, so like having a professional website, LinkedIn profile, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So he specifically mentions LinkedIn
LinkedIn, okay.
as a platform for showcasing your skills, connecting with businesses, and even sharing valuable content.
I guess that makes sense. LinkedIn is all about professional networking.
Yeah, it's not just for like job hunting anymore, It's for building your personal brand, positioning yourself as an expert.
Okay, so it's like even if you're a teenager, you should start building your LinkedIn profile now.
Yeah, he actually recommends that, which I think is really interesting.
It's never too early to start building your network.
And you know what else he suggests?
What's that?
Using AI tools like ChatGPT
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
to help with writing and content creation,
It's like using technology to amplify your skills and expertise.
Yeah, exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
right?
it's kind of meta, isn't it? We're talking about using AI to help you build a business.
Yeah,
And that business could potentially be disrupted by AI in the future.
I know. It's mind-blowing, right?
It just shows how quickly the world is changing
Yeah.
and how important it is to embrace new technologies
Yeah, sure.
and to adapt, constantly adapt.
Yeah, exactly. So he actually encourages teenagers to view AI as a tool, not a threat,
Okay, I like that. Like use it to your advantage
Yeah, exactly.
instead of being afraid of it.
Yeah. It can help you automate tasks, streamline your workflow, create high-quality content more efficiently.
Okay, so it's all about working smarter, not harder.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so we've got the skills, we've got some experience under our belts. What's next?
Okay, so you've got the skills, you've got the experience. Phase 4, build the business.
Okay, this is where it all comes together.
Yeah, this is where you turn it into a real, income-generating machine, right?
So how do you actually do that? Where do you start?
So he has some really interesting advice here. He actually advises against charging high prices right away.
Really? I would have thought the goal would be to land those high-paying clients as soon as possible.
Yeah, I would have thought so too. But he actually says it's better to build a solid client base
Okay.
with reasonable rates.
So it's about establishing trust and getting those initial clients under your belt.
Exactly. And getting testimonials, right? And just creating a steady stream of income.
So it's like instead of chasing one client who might pay you, say, $10,000,
Yeah.
you're better off aiming for multiple clients paying, I don't know, maybe $2,000 each.
Exactly. That's exactly what he recommends. That's the sweet spot,
That makes sense. It spreads the risk and
Yeah.
it also provides more stability, right?
It's exactly. It's less stressful too, I think.
Yeah.
Than trying to please one super demanding client,
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, this stage is about building a solid foundation, right?
Yeah.
Focusing on consistency, refining your processes, and acquiring clients.
It's about playing the long game.
Yeah, exactly. Not about, getting distracted by Lambos and private jets.
Right, not yet. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've built a solid business, you've got happy clients, money's coming in, what's next?
Okay, so you're crushing it, right? Clients are happy, you're making money, everything's good. Now it's time for phase 5. Scaling up.
Okay, so now we're talking about taking it to the next level.
Exactly. But, he actually makes a really important point here, which is that scaling up, it's not for everyone, right?
Okay, so it's not like the automatic next step for every entrepreneur.
Right. It can be really intimidating, It requires you to, step out of your comfort zone.
That'd be a big leap.
Yeah, and, take on more risk. And you might face challenges that you're just not prepared for.
So for those who do want to scale up, what does that actually involve?
Yeah, so he actually talks about transitioning from being a solopreneur to more of a manager.
Okay, so you're not doing everything yourself anymore.
Right, exactly. You might need to hire a team, implement systems, even use software and AI to help streamline things.
So it's about building a system that can function effectively, even if you're not directly involved in every single task.
Yeah, exactly. Creating a business that can kind of run itself to some extent.
What's the dream?
Yeah. Well, for some people, it is.
Right.
He actually acknowledges that, that some people, they might prefer to stay at a certain level, right? Where they're comfortable, they're making good money, and they have control over their time.
Okay, so it's about finding the right balance for you.
Exactly. It's not about, building the biggest, most complex business possible. It's about, creating something that works for you.
Okay, so let's take a step back for a second. We've gone through all 5 phases of this roadmap, from mental reset to scaling up.
Yeah.
Can you just recap them one more time, just so it's all fresh in our minds?
Yeah, for sure. So phase 1, mental reset, right? Get your head in the game, Clear out all the clutter, focus on your goals.
Okay.
Phase 2, skilling up. This is where you identify those valuable skills, right, that are in demand in the B2B market, specifically with Amazon, in this case. Then there's phase 3, gaining experience. So you're putting those skills to work, right? Building your portfolio, getting those testimonials, phase 4, building the business. This is where you're, getting those clients, you're generating income, you're building a sustainable operation.
Okay.
And finally, phase 5, scaling up. Taking it to the next level, right? Maybe hiring a team, implementing systems, all of that.
Okay, so it's a journey from mindset to potentially building a large-scale business.
Exactly. And, even though this expert focuses on Amazon, I think you can apply these principles to any industry, right?
Yeah, for sure. The fundamentals are the same. Identify a problem, provide a solution, and deliver value.
Exactly. So think about it like, what are you passionate about? What skills do you have or do you want to develop? What problems can you solve for businesses? The possibilities are really endless, especially when you start thinking outside of that traditional job market box,
Right. It's about being creative, thinking outside the box, and seeing opportunities where others might not.
Exactly. So before we move on, I have a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
This roadmap, it was specific to Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he says the principles apply to any industry.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what niche expertise could you develop to really tap into that B2B market?
That's a good question. I'm going to have to think about that one.
Yeah, something to ponder, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back soon with more on this topic. But until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing those boundaries.
And don't be afraid to dream big.
Yes.
And to chase those dreams with everything you've got. So it's about building a system that can function effectively.
Yeah.
Even if you're not directly involved in every single task.
Yeah. Creating a business that can kind of run itself, at least to some extent.
Exactly.
Okay, but I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
We keep talking about this expert's roadmap, but why is he specifically targeting teenagers? Why not just aspiring entrepreneurs in general?
Oh. That's a really good point. And it's something that struck me as well when I was reading the article. It's interesting because he's not just talking about starting any business, right?
Right.
He's advocating for building a scalable business, one that can potentially, grow into something much larger than yourself. And he thinks teenagers are uniquely positioned to do this.
Okay. Interesting. But why teenagers specifically? Is it just because they, have more time and energy?
Well, that's part of it, for sure.
Yeah.
But it goes deeper than that. He talks about how teenagers, they're digital natives, right?
Yeah.
They've grown up with technology, they're comfortable using it, and they're not afraid to experiment.
Yeah, that's true. They're not bound by the same, old ways of thinking that sometimes hold us, older folks back.
Right.
They're just more adaptable, more open to new ideas, and they're not afraid to challenge the status quo,
Exactly. And let's be honest, they have a different perspective on the world. They see things that we might miss.
Yeah.
They're not as jaded.
Yeah.
They're still full of that youthful optimism and that anything is possible attitude.
That can be a huge asset in the world of entrepreneurship.
It can.
Allowing them to think outside the box, to come up with innovative solutions, to take risks that others might not.
Absolutely. But of course, they also face some unique challenges, right? They might lack experience, they might not have access to capital, and they might even face, skepticism from adults who don't take them seriously.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that's where, mentorship and guidance come in.
Right. Having someone who believes in you, who can offer advice and can kind of help you navigate the ups and downs of beating a business, I think that can make all the difference.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what this expert, is trying to do with this roadmap.
Right.
He's offering a clear path, a set of actionable steps that teenagers can follow.
Yeah.
Even if they're starting from scratch. It's like he's saying, look, I've been there, I've done that, and you can too.
Yeah.
And I think that's so empowering, especially for young people who might not have this support or the resources that they need to pursue their entrepreneurial dreams.
Yeah, I agree. It's all about providing a framework, a foundation upon which they can build their own success,
Yeah.
But even with a roadmap, even with a mentor, right? It takes a certain mindset, I think, to really succeed as an entrepreneur.
You mean like the mental reset he talks about in phase 1?
Exactly. That's like the foundation for everything else. If you're not in the right headspace, if you're not committed to learning and growing, then none of the other strategies are really going to matter.
He really stresses the importance of self-awareness, right? Of understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, and being willing to put in the work.
And it's not just about working hard. It's about working smart, right? It's about being strategic, focusing on the things that really matter, and being willing to adapt, as you go.
He talks about, how important it is to be a lifelong learner, to constantly be seeking out, new information, new skills, to be open to feedback.
And to not be afraid to fail. Failure is just part of the process, right?
It is.
It's an opportunity to learn and grow.
He actually encourages teenagers to embrace failure.
I love that.
To see it as a stepping stone to success.
Yeah.
And I think that's a message that we as adults sometimes forget.
Yeah, we do.
We get so caught up in, the fear of failure that we stop taking risks. We stop trying new things.
And that's where the magic happens,
It is.
That's where innovation and creativity, all that flourishes.
So what can we as adults do to encourage and support, teen entrepreneurs? How can we help them cultivate that growth mindset and that fearless spirit?
Well, I think it starts with listening to them, taking their ideas seriously, providing them with the resources and the mentorship that they need to succeed.
Yeah, and not just telling them what to do, right?
Right.
But guiding them, asking questions, helping them to think critically,
Yeah.
and find their own solutions.
It's about empowering them, to be independent, resourceful, confident in their own abilities.
And celebrating their successes.
Yeah.
No matter how big or small.
Yeah.
Every win, every milestone deserves to be acknowledged and appreciated.
Absolutely. It's about creating that culture of support, a community where young people feel safe to experiment, to take risks, and to chase their dreams.
I know we've been talking a lot about the individual entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to acknowledge the role that communities and ecosystems play in fostering entrepreneurship, especially among young people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You're talking about incubators, accelerators, mentorship programs, networking events, even online communities, all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These kinds of initiatives can provide, invaluable support, resources, connections for young entrepreneurs who are just starting out.
For sure.
They can provide access to funding, to expert advice, to potential partners, to a community of like-minded individuals who understand the unique challenges and rewards of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And let's not forget about education, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like schools and universities, they can play a huge role in fostering entrepreneurial thinking, and skills.
Like not just about teaching business basics. Right?
Yeah.
It's about encouraging creativity, problem-solving, critical thinking, collaboration.
It's about equipping young people with the mindset and the skill set that they need to thrive, really, in the 21st century.
Right.
Whether they choose to become entrepreneurs, or just, innovative and adaptable individuals in whatever field they pursue.
It's about preparing them for a future where the only constant is change.
Yeah.
Where the ability to adapt, to learn, and to create value
Yeah.
will be more important than ever before.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, which is the B2B market. This expert, he's such a huge advocate for teenagers tapping into this space.
Yeah, he sees it as a hidden gold mine.
He does.
Especially for young entrepreneurs who, might not have a lot of experience or capital.
Yeah.
He actually argues that it's easier to get started in B2B than in B2C.
Really?
Which is, business to consumer.
Yeah.
And that's a bold statement.
It is. I can imagine some people pushing back on that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But he makes a compelling case,
Okay.
He talks about how in B2B you're selling to other businesses, which are typically more rational and less emotional in their buying decisions.
Okay.
They're looking for solutions to specific problems. And if you can provide those solutions, they're willing to pay for them.
That makes sense. They're not as swayed by flashy marketing or trendy influencers.
Right.
They're looking for results.
Exactly. And he also emphasizes that you don't need a huge audience or following to succeed in B2B.
Okay.
you can build a thriving business with a relatively small number of clients.
Okay, and that's a huge advantage, right?
It is.
Especially for young entrepreneurs
Mhm.
who might not have the time or resources to build like a massive social media following. It's more about building like targeted relationships with key decision makers.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the financial aspect, too.
Oh, yeah, right?
B2B contracts tend to be higher value
Mm-hmm.
than B2C transactions,
So you can potentially make more money with fewer clients, which is,
which is appealing, right?
yeah, very appealing, especially when you're first starting out. Yeah. And he also talks about how like B2B clients, they're more likely to be repeat customers,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
which means you can build long-term relationships and generate recurring revenue.
Which is the key to building a sustainable business, right?
Right. It's not about chasing one-off sales.
Mhm.
It's about creating that ongoing value for your clients.
Exactly.
Now, I know we've been talking about this in the context of teen entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
but I think these principles apply to anyone who's thinking about starting a business.
Absolutely. Whether you're 16 or 60, the fundamentals are the same.
Yeah.
Identify a problem, provide a solution,
Mm-hmm.
build relationships with your clients.
Right, right. And don't be afraid to think outside the box. Like
Yeah.
the B2B market, it's full of opportunities.
It is.
And there's no reason why, young people can't be the ones to capitalize on them.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So how do you actually find, these B2B clients?
Yeah, where do you even start?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's something that this expert addresses in his roadmap.
Mhm.
He talks about the importance of networking,
Okay.
of building relationships with other businesses, and of understanding their needs.
So it's not just about having the skills, it's about like knowing how to market those skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
And connect with the right people.
Exactly. And he encourages teenagers to not be afraid to reach out to businesses directly,
Okay.
to pitch their services,
Mm-hmm.
and to show them how they can add value.
It's about being proactive, taking initiative,
Mm-hmm.
not waiting for opportunities to come to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He even suggests leveraging online platforms like LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
to connect with businesses and to build your professional network.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a powerful tool for showcasing your expertise,
Mm-hmm.
connecting with potential clients, staying up to date on industry trends.
Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but I think there's one key takeaway from all of this.
Okay, what's that?
Welcome back for part 3 of our deep dive into the world of teen entrepreneurship.
Always happy to be back.
We've covered so much ground already, right?
We have.
We explored this expert's 5-phase roadmap. We've
Mhm.
talked about the mindset you need, being adaptable,
Yes.
the power of community, all of that.
It's been quite a journey.
It has, but I feel like there's one more crucial aspect
So-
that we need to really unpack before we wrap up this whole deep dive.
I agree. There's one more piece of the puzzle that I think often gets overlooked,
Sure.
but can be a real game changer for teen entrepreneurs.
You're talking about mentorship, right?
Mentorship.
Yeah.
Yes. Having someone who's been there, done that, to guide you through this crazy world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's so valuable to have that experienced voice, right?
It is.
Someone who can show you the ropes.
And this expert, he really hammers home the value of mentorship, especially for young people who might not have access to, those traditional business networks.
Right.
He even suggests reaching out to people you admire on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's just for a quick chat.
Yeah, I love that he makes it approachable. It doesn't have to be this super formal thing.
Right. Exactly.
With a contract and stuff.
It could be casual, just
Yeah.
a conversation with someone whose work you respect,
Yeah.
picking their brain,
Mm-hmm.
gleaning insights from their experiences.
Yeah.
He even suggests looking for mentors who are, maybe just a few steps ahead of you on the journey.
Oh, okay.
They can often relate to your challenges in a more personal way,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because they were just there, right?
Exactly. They were just there.
They remember what it was like.
They remember the struggle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've got your mentor, you're feeling good. But I also wanted to touch on something else this expert talks about, which is not going it alone.